Love it or hate it, Action Bronson and New Balance have really created a very unique design language. And the color blocking on all of his shoes are so distinctly his own style that it's almost unmistakable when he decides to collaborate on such an amazing model like the 992. Hello and welcome, this is Best Foot Forward Shoes. My name is Harrison Cable. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Now, if you have already followed me for a little bit, you know that I did actually have the Tiger's Eye, which was the first colorway of the 992 that Action Bronson did release earlier this year. And unfortunately, I didn't really love it. To be honest, it was the colorway that was the problem for me. Like I said, he has a very distinct color style, and that one didn't quite sit well with me. One of the main reasons was because I saw promo images of this shoe, and I absolutely fell in love with it from the moment that I saw it. And so knowing that this was coming and I was likely going to be getting it, I passed on the Tiger's Eye. Even though it was okay, I just thought this one was a whole lot better. Now, this is also one of the craziest pickup stories, which I'll quickly touch upon. So basically, this shoe is called the Digitalis Purpurea, and that is the name of a flower, which obviously has like a similar kind of color scheme. It's very purple. It has a little bit of green on it, a little bit of yellow, all of the elements which tie into this shoe. And with this shoe already having a name of a flower, myself, I'm down here in Australia, if you did not know. This shoe was shipped to me from the USA, and it got stuck in customs for 3 weeks. 2 weeks where I had absolutely no information. And then I finally had a little bit of clarity around why this shoe was being held, and it was because of the name. They thought that it was a living organism that obviously coming into another country, they have to do checks on different sort of packages, and the name of this shoe triggered an automated screening process. With, as you can imagine, so many packages coming into the country, it's really hard to sort through all of them. And so it took 2 weeks after I sent in a receipt, a website link, a invoice, and also had to call them to prove my identity. All that to say, it was a little bit of a frustrating process, and if they actually had to inspect the shoe, I was going to have to pay another $200 Australian, roughly about $120 USD, to have them inspect the shoe to prove that it wasn't a plant, which, I mean, would have been really, really annoying, but luckily that did not happen, and I managed to get these shortly after I sent in all of those documents. So a little bit of a wild one, so please, if anyone from Action Bronson's team is watching this, either give a consignment note that says that this is not a shoe, or just don't name it after a flower so we can all rest easy. This actually did happen to like 3 or 4 other people in Australia, so my incident was not a isolated incident, so it was a known issue. Instantly, I can see a bit of a comparison with the other shoe that I have from Action Bronson from this year. This one is the 990 V6, the Amazonia pair, which I did pick up in about, I think it was June this year, and you can really see some of the similarities in the color scheme, and like I said before, he's developing a design language that is very distinct. And of course, some of his other shoes that he has, the 1906 are the Rosewater pair, and to a lesser extent the original BAKLAVA pair. But you can see a correlation with some very loud colorways and some shoes that really shouldn't work together as a colorway and yet somehow do. He's put this really nice bright purple and also some pink overlays onto this shoe. But first of all, I'll chat about the sizing. So with 992s, I have a bunch of them now, and I usually go with the true to size. So I'm a size 9 US, 42.5 euro. I know a lot of people like to size down half a size, but I kind of like a little bit of the toe room at the end there. And I feel that when I do go half a size down, if I'm wearing thick socks, it can get a little bit tight. So I'm happy going with the true to size, but I also don't blame people if they have like narrow feet and want to go with their half a size down. But this here being the kind of revival of the 992, I really have loved all the colorways that they've been putting out, not only from Action Bronson, but also the Kith Osaka pair, the Joe Freshgoods 992 from earlier in the year. All of those pairs are so cool. And that's what I would recommend with most made in USA models, is going with the true to size. But again, you could go down half a size if you really feel like it and you want that more snug one-to-one fit. Let's start with some of the materials. So you have a very nice traction pattern on the bottom. Of course, it's black rubber. You've got a little bit of lines of blue, classic 992 and New Balance branding on the middle of the foot there. You do have your dual density sole here on the bottom here, differentiated by the 2 different colors of gray on the bottom here. You also have the ENCAP technology on the back here, where you have the New Balance branding in that plastic, and also the branding that says Made in USA. The ABZORB SBS pods on the back heel tab and also on the midfoot really do provide a lot of stability. They are an incredibly comfortable model, is the 992. Yes, they are a little bit expensive. This pair was $380 Australian, so roughly about $220 US. And yeah, it was a little bit expensive, but you really do get what you pay for when it comes to the Made in USA premium models. You get premium quality materials on the outside, and you also do get a great level of comfort. Moving on to the upper, you do have this purple suede going all the way around the front toe box, and moving on to the heel tab, just underlaying the N logo on the side here. This suede is actually a little bit less vibrant than than I thought it was in pictures. Like in some of the Action Bronson on feet pictures, maybe it was a sample because they definitely looked very, very bright and almost a lilac pink, but this is kind of a darker purple. You also have some pink nubuck overlays on the front toe box and also a deeper purple on the eye stays just around the front here. There's two colors of mesh on this shoe. You have some open hold mesh around the front toe box done in almost like a turmeric colorway is what I'm going to call it. And then on the tongue you also have this silver gray color, and that is also continued up to the top of the tongue where you have the embroidered New Balance logo and the 992 branding. There is a little tiny hit of BAKLAVA branding on the side. It looks like it's been screen printed onto the suede, so it's not embossed or embroidered or anything. It actually kind of looks like it's going to peel off pretty soon if you wear it a lot. One of my favorite colors, which is actually the least amount of color on the shoe, is this really nice turquoise dark greenish blue on the back heel and then also on the bottom of the tongue as well. So there's probably about 5 or 6 different colors on here, very similar to the 990 V6 where there's probably about 5 or 6 colors in mixing the pink, the blue, the aqua and the black, and all of these colors really do combine together to create a very loud and yet somewhat toned down colorway. So if that makes any sense, they're not as loud as some shoes that are just all monochromatically red. It is, yes, very loud and people are going to notice this shoe, but it's also still very, very nicely cohesive, and I feel like you could wear this with a nice neutral fit to kind of make the shoes stand out. You do not get any extra laces. Of course, Action Bronson, you never get a set of laces. You get this very polarizing hiking style rope lace on this shoe. You never ever get an extra set, as I said before, and some people don't like the colorways, so I have seen people switch them out. You do get a yellow box, which is good because originally with the Tiger's Eye, I only got the blue lid, which confused a lot of people because it was an Australian release, but you do get some sort of BAKLAVA branding on there as well, and you also get a yellow lid with the BAKLAVA stamped on the front right there, if you can see that. So overall, some pretty nice packaging, but it's really all about the shoes with this one. I'm very, very happy to have this, and yes, despite the frustrations with the customs and some of the naming of the shoe and not being able to get them as quickly as some other people, like you've probably already seen some reviews on this shoe. Unfortunately, I am a little bit late with this one, so apologies for that, but hey, better late than never, and this will definitely be sneaking into my top 10 New Balances of the year. In fact, both of these are going to be featuring very heavily in that list, and again, we are going to be reviewing that with Mr. Sam Dopkowski, New Balance head aficionado, someone who has already been on the podcast a ton, and we are going to be ranking our top 10 New Balances of the year in about December, so keep an eye out for that one. Subscribe to the channel if you have not, so you can stay up to date with all of our new releases and new videos. And again, check me out on Instagram if you're not already following me there. Thank you so much to everybody who already is, and thank you so much to everybody for watching this video. We'll see you again next week for another review. Have a good day.